So the real question on everyone's mind is, can I still get away with not wearing deodorant? Welcome back. My name is Sarah. I am known as Carnivore Yogi. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel and clicking on today's video. Today I'm going to tell you 5 really weird things that happened to me when I started eating a carnivore diet, when I eliminated all plants and all carbohydrates, all processed foods, and went to a diet comprised of all animal foods. Now, here's the kicker. I have added in a few select plant foods in the last couple of months, and so I'll tell you at the end of each one of these things if this still holds true since adding those few select plants back in. But before I jump into today's video, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Carvana. 2020 was a very strange year, and one of the things that happened in 2020 is that the car market was essentially turned upside down. In the spring, when car plants closed, the used car market absolutely exploded, which is when Carvana came in completely online. There was a huge demand, and there still is a huge demand for used cars because a lot of people are skipping public transportation and want their own cars. So I'm going to link an article below this video for you guys to check out that NPR just did recently. A lot of people are underestimating how much their car is worth now. All you have to do is go to the Carvana website. I will put the link in the information section below this video. Put in the specs of your car and they will give you an offer that's good for 7 days. If you decide to accept that offer, they can be at your home by as quickly as tomorrow to pick up your car and give you a check for your car. It's pretty amazing. And again, like I said, because the used car market has essentially been turned upside down, the average person is seeing a 30% higher price for their car than they're expecting. So you never know what you're going to get. Guys, go ahead and check out Carvana, linked below in the information section. And thanks again to Carvana for sponsoring this video. Let's get into this topic, the 5 things that my body did when switching over to carnivore, and are they still true? So the first thing that happened when I switched over to carnivore diet was that I stopped needing deodorant. Now, I kind of discovered this on accident. I went to a hot yoga class, and here's the thing, you guys, before I went carnivore, I was a little stinky. I did, as a yoga instructor and someone who does a lot of things with sweat, I did notice that I had some pretty bad BO. And I went to a hot yoga class and forgot my deodorant. And I didn't realize it until about 10 minutes in when I first started sweating. And you know that, like, oh God, that feeling that you've forgotten your deodorant, that kicked in. So I didn't end up having any body odor that day. So it was an accident that I didn't wear my deodorant. And you know, deodorant is just so toxic. Even like the all natural ones are still not really the best for you. So that was my discovery, that I did not need deodorant anymore. And I continued not needing deodorant as long as I stayed carnivore. Now here's the kicker. Since I've added in a few plants, avocado, a few greens, all low anti-nutrient vegetables, I still haven't needed to wear any deodorant. The only time that I have had to wear deodorant that I was like, oh wow, is that me? Was a night that I ate some nightshades. I had some bell peppers. I made a little stir fry for my husband and my daughter and decided to have a little bit, thinking no big deal. Now, I've always had a sensitivity to nightshades. It will give me red around my nose and on my face. That actually didn't happen when I had the nightshades, but the next day, the smell was back. So I don't really know the science behind this whole mechanism, but I know that as long as I stay on low anti-nutrient vegetables and the main source of my diet is animal foods, I still don't need to wear deodorant, even with a couple of plant foods. All right, number 2, this one was really interesting for me. When I first started carnivore, it was as though all of the plaque kind of fell off my teeth. Now, I have one of those little dental kits where you scratch and scrape your teeth, and I would use it. I'd brush and floss my teeth, and then I'd scrape, and it felt like I was scraping constantly. And then I, of course, would go to the dentist. Now, the cool thing is, since I had quit being vegan years ago, I really haven't had any cavities. So that is a big plus. However, this plaque thing was a bit frustrating. So Went carnivore within a month. It was literally like my teeth had been cleaned for me. Very cool. And that actually stayed through the whole time I was carnivore for that whole 2 years. And then now with this last couple of months with the plant foods, same thing. I still have not had any plaque. That little bell pepper incident did not cause plaque to be regrown on my teeth. It did cause a little stinkiness, but I thought that was pretty cool. So I think that you really can improve your dental health eating an animal-based diet. And if you want to add a few plants in there as condiments, you could probably get away with it. Number 3 was a heightened sense of smell. Now this one was super weird. I was practicing yoga at the time, yoga teacher, and I was doing Ashtanga yoga, which there's a lot of heavy breathing in Ashtanga yoga. And so I was in a room, and this was right when I had first started carnivore, probably a couple weeks in, and it just kind of kicked in. I was in the room. All of a sudden I could smell everyone's breath. It was literally the most bizarre thing. I mean, I can't even tell you how strange it was. And everyone didn't have bad breath, but it was like I could just smell their breath. Now, I've talked to a few other people on the carnivore diet, and they've experienced this exact same phenomenon. Very, very weird. Thankfully, this was an adaptation that went away about 3 months into the carnivore diet. So if you're still doing carnivore and you have this, let me know, comment below. Or did you experience this when going over to a carnivore diet? It was weird, and it was one that, you know, the first 2 were really cool, but this third one I was like, I could do without this one. And thank God it did go away after that first 90 days. Number 4 was no more flaky, peely, cracky skin. And this was tough for me as a yoga teacher. I was constantly using a pumice stone on my feet and getting pedicures and using all the lotions, and my feet were still cracky, dry, and flaky. My skin was flaky, my nails would crack. Going to a carnivore diet, it was amazing how quickly I didn't even need lotion anymore for my feet. Now, did this stay on my carnivore diet? It actually went away about a year in because I was eating too much protein and not enough fat. I was erring more on a protein-sparing modified fast type of carnivore diet, which I don't recommend, especially to women. As soon as I really bumped that up, the fat up, that dry skin went away. And here we are today. Even though I have added some plants back in, I still eat a pretty high fat diet, a ketogenic diet. Still no need to use lotion. Now I do use a tallow cream on my face called Fancy Farm, which I will put in the description for you guys if you're interested in it. But that's all I use. That's the only thing I use on my face. I don't use any lotion on my body, which is crazy. I have a lifelong history of eczema, dry, cracked, flaky skin, and doing this animal-based diet has been absolute magic for my skin and the moisturizing capabilities. So, dry, flaky skin, still gone. Number 5, I stopped being hungry all the time. And we know this, when you go to a diet that is more of a higher fat diet, your body switches metabolic states. You go into a fat burning state or a state of ketosis. And so at first I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I don't need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And I've really actually enjoyed that. It makes my life a lot easier. I don't get hangry. And that's something that has really stuck around for me, except to caveat this, when I was doing that higher protein, that protein sparing modified fasting version of carnivore, which again, I don't necessarily recommend, especially to women, I started to get hangry. I started to want to eat more. I started to not be as satisfied by my food. But what I did was I flipped it. So I started eating more fat and a little bit less protein, and boom, it was back. And I could easily go many hours between meals, 6, 8 hours sometimes in between meals with absolutely no problem at all. All right, guys, so those are the 5 weird things that my body did when I dropped all the sugar, the processed carbs, and the plants and went to a meat-based carnivore diet. I'd love to know what benefits you've experienced since switching over to a meat-based diet or a carnivore diet. Let me know in the comments, what kind of diet are you doing? What kind of benefits have you experienced? Have you seen any of these things happen for yourself? I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.